Welcome to the webinar Tag in Action, Strengthening Steps to Success, Creating a Youth Master Plan with Youth, for Youth, supported by the U.S. Office of Adolescent Health. The Successful Strategies for Improving Adolescent Health webinar series is sponsored by the HHS Office of Adolescent Health. This webinar is one of a series highlighting local, state, and national efforts to improve adolescent health and is part of a national call to action called Adolescent Health, Think, Act, Grow, or TAG. My name is Evelyn Kapler. As Director of the Office of Adolescent Health, or OAH, I'm very pleased to be with you to talk about TAG and to share information about a successful strategy to improve adolescent health. This webinar highlights the work of Birth to 22, United for Brighter Futures, an alliance of over 60 youth-serving organizations dedicated to the healthy growth, development, and education of Palm Beach County youth. Today we're joined by Tammy Fields, the Director of the Palm Beach County Youth Services Department and co-chair of the Birth to 22 initiative. Before I turn it over to Tammy, I'd like to share a little bit about the Office of Adolescent Health and TAG. OAH is located in the United States Department of Health and Human Services. The office was first funded in 2010 and charged by Congress with developing a national plan for improving adolescent health. OAH has used its limited resources and the input of experts to synthesize what we know about what works and spur action in support of adolescent health. The TAG call to action is a first response to that charge. With this webinar, we're pleased to share an example of how the Birth to 22 effort has successfully engaged young people in both the development of a youth master plan and in the plan's execution. TAG identifies engaging youth as learners, leaders, team members, and workers to be one of 5 essentials for healthy adolescents. TAG builds on the collective work and insights of many professionals, researchers, and family members who know what it takes to promote the health and healthy development of America's 42 million adolescents. Teens are generally fairly healthy, yet there are many missed opportunities to promote adolescent health and to intervene promptly as challenging health issues emerge in adolescence and young adulthood. TAG is a comprehensive, strengths-based, positive youth development approach to adolescent health rather than a risk-based approach. TAG is designed to help young people reach their full potential as healthy, productive adults. With TAG, we hope to spur action across multiple groups of professionals and organizations and in communities that all share a common interest in promoting adolescent health. Stakeholder engagement is a core tenet that drives all aspects of TAG and reflects our understanding that many determinants of adolescent health lie outside the healthcare system. The goals for TAG are the following: to raise awareness about the importance of adolescent health, to engage stakeholders, including youth-serving organizations and caring adults, to get adolescent health on the national agenda, and to spur action. Long-term, TAG contributes to achieving the Healthy People 2020 objectives for adolescent health developed by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. More details about TAG and the 5 essentials for healthy adolescents can be found on the Office of Adolescent Health website. Also, before we begin, we'd like to point out that the content and views in this next portion of the webcast do not necessarily represent the official policies of the Office of Adolescent Health or the United States Department of Health and Human Services. I'm now pleased to turn things over to Tammy to learn about Palm Beach County's Birth to 22 initiative and the Youth Master Plan entitled Strengthening the Steps to Success. Tammy?
I'm very pleased to be asked to do this webinar and share the work that Palm Beach County is doing and tell you a little bit about the Palm Beach County story. To begin, I think it's necessary to set the picture of Palm Beach County. We have beautiful weather, glistening beaches, a thriving tourism and agricultural industry, and yes, lots of palm trees. But that's not the whole story. In Palm Beach County, we have a very diverse population. There's approximately 60% white, 17% black, 19% Hispanic, and 2.4% Asian. 22.3% of the children in our school system were born in another country, and 150 languages are spoken within the school system. There's 198 countries of origins of birth. Our school system is the 11th largest school district in the United States, with 185 schools and 189,000 students attending. And our median income in Palm Beach County is $53,242. This sounds like a lot of money, and everything should be well, correct? Well, next I want to tell you a tale of two cities in Palm Beach County. We do have our extremes. We have the island of Palm Beach, which is the winter White House. The population on a year-round basis is a little over 10,000, and it exceeds 30,000 during the winter. The median family income there is over $137,000. The population is almost 94% white, 2.5% black, and 2.5% Hispanic. On the other extreme, and to the most further western portion of our county, is the town of Belglade. This is almost exclusively agriculture community. The population's a little over 17,000. The median family income is only 26,000. It has approximately 14% white, 50% black, and 28% Hispanic population. These extremes in our county make for a challenging initiative when trying to plan on a county-wide basis. I wanted to share a little bit more of the data for Palm Beach County and the disparities that are seen in some of the challenges facing our youth. There's a significant disparity in our low birth rates. There's also significant disparity in our graduation rates, but I'm very pleased to report that within the last couple of weeks, we've just received updated graduation information that indicates that overall, excluding our charter schools, there's a 90% graduation rate. And our Hispanic youth, their graduation rates rose 6.6%, and for our black students, the graduation rates rose 10%. And in our Glades area, which is the community I just described, there's almost a 10% increase in the graduation rates. We'd like to believe that these increased results for graduation are a result of the coordinated efforts by our many partners. Continuing on with some of our statistics, we have a disparity in the number of disconnected youth from school and work. We also have a significant disparity in the number of youth arrests. Our youth arrests are only about 24% for our white youth and 61% for our black youth. We also have information regarding bullying that is experienced, and in the surveys that were taken, we see that race and ethnicity was the #1 factor behind bullying, with economic status and sexual orientation or gender identity close behind. These are scary, that this much bullying is occurring. So why did we decide to do a youth master plan? My last bit of history for Palm Beach County. In 2013, the Board of County Commissioners and a group of community leaders convened the Infant, Child, Youth, and Young Adult Symposium to discuss ways to align these efforts and move forward together to make sure that all children, youth, and families have the best possible futures. Birth to 22 United for Brighter Futures is the name adopted by the coalition of community partners that emerged from the Youth Symposium. This group of leaders engaged existing coalitions, networks, and organizations working in the children, youth, and family space and connected directly with youth, families, and community members. The result of this massive engagement effort is a well-vetted set of priorities for young people combined with concrete recommendations for unified action. In fact, one of the recommendations was the creation of the Youth Services Department, which is the department I work for, Prior to that point, youth programs had been scattered amongst many different county departments and now all rest in one location with a focused mission. We hope that our youth master plan will serve as a blueprint for setting priorities and taking action to improve the lives of children, and will address the opportunity gaps that we experience in Palm Beach County. The mission that we adopted is probably similar to most areas. It is to support the healthy growth, development, and education of children and youth prenatal through young adulthood so that they graduate from high school and succeed in life. We very specifically went up to the age of 22 because we do recognize that our youth have challenges as they move from the high school arena into college, careers, or other programs. In the development of our youth master plan, we use the collective impact approach. The collective impact framework is a framework developed by John Cana and Mark Kramer in 2011 that codifies 5 conditions essential for community-wide systems change. They're having a common agenda, shared measurement tools, mutually reinforcing activities, continuous communication, backbone support, all resulting in collective impact. My department, the Youth Services Department, and the Children's Services Council for Palm Beach County serve as the backbone support. So how did we gather all of the information necessary for a youth master plan? The first thing we did was hold community conversations. We facilitated 11 community conversations involving over 700 young people and community members in identifying the goals, challenges, and solutions. One of the things that was very successful with our community conversations is we trained young people to be the facilitators, which provided for some very engaging conversations. We also held separate meetings in middle schools, high schools, with college students, with our LGBTQ youth, and with special needs youth and disconnected youth. We wanted to make sure we received their opinions and that they were included, and sometimes they were not comfortable coming to the other settings where we had the community conversations. Our outreach efforts to hold these community conversations resulted in 3 of our areas with the highest poverty rates in the county, drawing almost half of our overall participants, which was very encouraging for us because we knew we were really hearing from our community. The main thing we heard was the word lack. It came up over and over. We heard that there were a lack of jobs, that there were a lack of community supports, that there was lack of supervision by parents, that there was lack of opportunities. We also conducted a youth survey at one of our youth summits and through our Palm Beach County School District to get the voice of youth that did not participate in our community conversations. One of the things that was encouraging is our youth identified that there were opportunities in the area to be involved in positive activities, to get an education, to participate in volunteering. What we found disconcerting, though, was some of the results that we received on social emotional issues. 17% of our youth said that they felt that they were subjects of discrimination. 19% felt that they were neglected, and probably the most concerning was 22% identified that they had thought of suicide. We also had 43% of our youth saying that they had suffered from some bouts of depression. Bullying was identified as one of the major areas, and as I previously mentioned, race and ethnicity was a major cause for bullying. As we completed our community conversations, there were 6 emerging themes that we've now adopted into our youth master plan. They were economic supports, social emotional challenges and supports, health and wellness needs, parenting, home environment, mentors and role models, education supports, and community stressors, including systemic barriers and the media. Throughout every step of our process, we made sure equity was our focus. It was the cornerstone of everything we did. Readiness is a right. Birth to 22 aims to ensure that all youth have the opportunity to succeed, and special attention must be paid to ensure equity for youth facing systemic barriers because they are LGBTQ, Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, English language learners, caregiving youth, homeless youth, court-involved youth, maybe in foster care, or have other special needs, including behavioral health concerns. We defined equity very broadly. So what did we do with all of the information in the Youth Master Plan that we developed? We have developed 16 active work groups working on different initiatives on each of our emerging themes. What I'm going to focus on for the remainder of this webinar is our youth involvement. One of the things we did is we created Future Leaders United for Change so that they could continue to be involved in our process. We often hear, what you do for me, without me, you do to me, and we did not want our youth to feel this way. We initially called it our Youth Advisory Council, and our youth rapidly decided they did not like that name and renamed themselves Future Leaders United for Change. They meet once a month, and our voice of the youth to the Birth to 22 Steering Committee, and in fact they hold 2 positions on the steering committee with equal rights to any adult on the committee. We found when working with our youth that incentives are very important. So they all have shirts and notepads and earbuds, water bottles, and other incentives. And you'll see the picture of pizza because food is important to get youth to any meetings that we hold. We also realize that technology is a must. As I mentioned, we're a very large county, and technology is important to allow students in other areas of the county to participate in a meeting if they do not have transportation. Some of these mechanisms are ones that are beyond my knowledge, but fortunately I have some staff that is very up to date on this technology, and I find that using technology allows us to get more participation. So what are the things that our youth discuss when they're not discussing specific initiatives under the Youth Master Plan? They've learned about parliamentary procedure, healthy eating. In fact, they ask us not to order pizza anymore because it's not as healthy. Community gardens. They've talked extensively about racial equity. They've had training on moving the margins for LGBTQ youth. They've talked about developing budgets. Right now, they are working on individual elevator speeches about future leaders and Birth to 22. They've also had a wide variety of guests, including many elected officials. One of our state senators swore our officers in during the first term, and our vice mayor just swore our officers in for the second term. We've also had city officials, the Sheriff's Department, and many others come in to speak with our youth. And they determine who they'd like to hear from. The youth have also been involved in a lot of community projects. I mentioned community gardens already. They just completed a project at one of our homeless sites and planted some fruit trees, and they did it in memory of one of the women who had worked hard on this initiative. It was a very special ceremony that included her family, but also provided sustainable fruit trees for the people that reside on that homeless site to be able to access. They've been involved in the weekend food packing program. In fact, for one event, one of our future leaders who is in foster care herself, living in a group home, came to help with making sure that food was packed for homeless youth. They have served as the advisory committee for a homeless youth grant. The grant required an advisory committee, and instead of creating a new one, we use future leaders for that purpose. They're involved in future community conversations. They've put on a couple of youth summits. They were intricately involved in a My Brother's Keeper conference held here in Palm Beach County last year. And they've also participated in the Homeless Point in Time count, which served to be very beneficial because we were able to increase the number of youth that we identified so that we'll be able to pursue funding for homeless youth. I also would like to brag a little bit about some of our youth because two of our youth have recently been recognized for their work with future leaders in other community projects. One just received the Martin Luther King Award from our local state college, and another who has been in foster care, was involved in the DJ system, and has really turned her life around, was just awarded as an ambassador of the Department of Juvenile Justice from the state of Florida. So we're very proud of them. Another thing that is essential for youth engagement is jobs. We in Palm Beach County contract with a career source to host interns at our site. In fact, our intern that was here last summer is the one who initially created this PowerPoint presentation. We hire college students to serve as our summer food program monitors. We funded 26 positions with our youth empowerment centers, so that's scattered throughout the county, so that they could have job programs and entrepreneur programs. We have supported summer camp scholarships at the Boys and Girls Club and summer internships through our Big Brothers Big Sisters. And we're also helping other county departments, now that they've seen how successful our department is with youth interns, in developing their own youth internship programs. Our Department of Environmental Resource Management hosted 8 students last summer, and it were students that were not aware of all of the careers that are available in the area of environmental resources. And our Parks Department is currently hosting what they call Nature Ninjas, and it's internships for youth to be involved in nature programs. We also host professional internships for our social workers, therapists, and psychologists, and we find those to be very successful. This is just a smattering of the things that we've done in order to engage our youth in Palm Beach County, and I'm happy to address any questions regarding our programs.
Thanks, Tammy, for your work and this very interesting presentation. We'd like to take a few minutes now to ask some additional questions. So can you tell us what were the biggest challenges you faced keeping youth engaged?
One of the biggest challenges is what I mentioned from a geographic standpoint. We're a very large county, and our mass transit system is improving, but it is still challenging to navigate for some of our youth. So transportation has been a significant challenge, and one of the ways we're addressing it is with the use of technology. And now we're exploring to see if we might be able to get bus passes for our youth to participate. I'd say transportation has been our biggest battle.
And has this effort shaped how you think about engaging youth in other aspects of your work?
Well, I think what we learned as far as having transportation as a key factor for engaging youth and future leaders is that it also is a key factor for youth to be able to be engaged in other programs throughout the county and after-school programs and things of that nature. So we do allow, when we're doing funding consideration, that transportation would be something that a nonprofit agency could ask for to be able to pick up youth and be able to take them home as part of their overall programs, and we will allow that to be part of their budget request to us.
Great. Thank you so much, Tammy, for joining us today. On behalf of the Office of Adolescent Health, I want to thank you for joining us to learn about OAH and TAG and to hear about the wonderful work going on in Palm Beach County. A special thanks to Tammy Fields for sharing her work with us. The TAG effort continues, and we invite you to get involved and spread the word about TAG within your professional networks. And there are several ways in which you can do that. You can explore the website. You can check out the TAG playbook. You can join TAG and get email updates. You can watch one of the TAG Talk videos with your colleagues. Notify your colleagues and grantees about TAG. You can encourage your organization to use TAG action steps and resources. You can blog about TAG, and we have a sample text on our TAG toolkit. So I encourage you to ask questions, share ideas, and stay in touch. I also encourage you to check out and share the TAG pins on the Office of Women's Health Pinterest page on Girls Health. And finally, I encourage you to use TAG social media tools to reach out to some of America's 42 million teens and the adults who care about them at hashtag #tag42mil. Again, here are some of the specific ways you can connect with the Office of Adolescent Health and with TAG. Explore our website, download materials, and sign up for e-updates. Watch us on YouTube. Send your ideas and questions to us at tagteam@hhs.gov and follow OAH on our Twitter site @teenhealthgov and use hashtag #tag42mil. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share TAG and a great example of TAG in action with you today.